Episode for December the 19th, 2023. And I'm a tired panda. I did not get a nap today, and it's a Tuesday. Just generally exhausted. I listened to an interesting podcast. I am listening to an interesting podcast, Cortex with CPG Grey, which is their themes episode for 2023. They don't do New Year's resolutions, they do themes. And they were reviewing themes from the past year. And one of the things is like work while you can. And it was Gray worrying about AI basically kind of destroying the ecosystem that he works in as a YouTuber, making interesting videos on subjects. But what he actually found is it's like, okay, AI, not now, in the future, perhaps. But what he was seeing was actually, it was the disappearance of the middle or something like that. Basically saying that like in any market, like say chairs, you'll start out with a market where there's, very high-end chairs, very low cheap chairs, and a whole bunch of like in the middle chairs of varying different degrees of effort and quality, and maybe size or longevity and stuff like that. But as the market goes along, it has a tendency to squinch to the two sides. Either you get super cheap chairs on one side, massive economy of scale, or you get super expensive, high end, very niche chairs on the other end. And he says this applies to things other than just shares, and the entertainment industry is one of the areas. And I immediately kind of go to, oh, we do not have any mid-budget movies anymore. They have all been flushed to TV. They do not appear in movie theaters anymore. It's either giant tent poles or super cheap horror movies sort of are the two viable models in the movie theater. And he was saying that this is very much the case in YouTube as well, where you get shorts where everyone's making very quick, fast little 31-minute long videos on the one end, and then on the other end you get creators who I've been watching Bomber guy. Jesse Gender kind of falls into this, even though he's not a massive YouTuber, who are making long, like 3-hour, 4-hour documentaries on subjects that they'll go away for, not Jesse Gender, but other ones will go away for like a year producing it, to get massive views on the other side. That's the only way that it would actually make sense economically. And there's definitely more variables. Like you could have a super high effort short video. I think they talked about Mr. Beast doing something where he climbed the Eiffel Tower in a short video. So it was like a literal high effort video. Or you put a lot of time into a short thing. But it kind of, what it has a tendency to do is nuke all the middle people in there. If you're not Mr. Beast, you're losing all your views to Mr. Beast. If you're in competition with him, that's the thing, is there's various things, like he said, for educational videos, which is what he put himself in. He named a YouTuber. He said with with MK Marquis Brown, MKPD. There's probably he's like Mr. Who's the Boss would be the person that he would think is actually the Mr. Beastification of the thing, of doing these high effort, kind of slightly insane videos, which is funny because I got sick of him. Like when I could tell when he clicked, and it was like, oh, I'm gonna beast myself. I'm gonna go into beast mode here, and everything's gonna be hyper amped. And it completely turned me off, and I unsubscribed from him. Probably at that very moment where he probably put his numbers through the roof. And if he hasn't surpassed NKBHD or whatever the fuck is Marquise, if he hasn't um, surpassed him yet, he probably will soon. But it was just like one of those like, ugh, I don't like that. And I've never been able to watch Mr. Beast video. I'm not quite sure exactly what market he's going for and what's the version of Mr. Beast I might like, but wasn't something. It was like stunt videos. But then I find there are a lot of them are just stunt videos, which is just like it doesn't seem to really interest me. Um, but then there's plenty of people who seem to be very thoughtful um, YouTubers, Philosophy Tube for one, where I've just never been able to watch one full of her entire video. Whereas there's other people, it's like, oh, I can watch 2 or 3 hours of them nattering away for a little bit, and then I kind of lose interest after a while. But yeah. To be honest, I do like a lot of the little artisan people who are doing 10 or 12, 20, maybe 20-minute, 12-minute videos. The odd 5-minute video is fine, where we're just chatting about stuff, and it's not like super high effort, but it's thoughtful and stuff like that. I was wondering how that would interact with something like BookTube, which I think is more of a hobbyist thing. I mean, BookTube is such an internal thing in itself of people watching each other's videos that maybe that doesn't apply as much. Though you could say someone like Steve Donahue for kind of an older set is kind of that gobbly up, though he's slightly detached himself from the rest of BookTube. I think in a way, I don't. Well, not really. No, that would be unfair to Steve. Steve has definitely kept his contacts within it. It's like I haven't kept my contacts. Is what you would say that I'd make such a ridiculous statement. But I mean, yes, there's giant booktubers which don't interest me at all. So I seem to be mostly interested in the middles. Well, to be honest, everything in booktube is completely small potatoes, so I don't even know what you would call it there. It's just like one of those like, oh, is that squeeze attached itself to non-commercial, what are basically non-commercial, like hobbyists making videos on YouTube? Or does that just sort of kind of lean towards the fact that YouTube will eventually just squeeze out all the hobbyists and say, well, that's not where the money is, and we don't need you here actually making videos, and we're going to end you. At which point they could lose a lot of, I mean, like that becomes Nebula or something like that, and that seems like a much smaller, less culturally impactful part of the culture, and one with a lot less eyeballs on it. So it becomes TV, which maybe has more. I don't know if it has more eyeballs or not. It's hard to say. All right, I've nattered along for long enough. I am very tired, and this wasn't particularly that focused of a conversation. Just thoughts. All right, I'll leave it there. More videos later.